Welcome back to the last of our podcasts for this year, which is almost a full year of this for us now. This being, of course, Hello, Ladies, where feminism meets pro wrestling. I'm one of your hosts, Sabrina Hannon.
I am Megan Manley.
And we're rounding out this year doing the happy belated birthday, of course, to Megan for when you're seeing this.
I am 3 year older. Yay.
And I mean, you accomplished a lot last year, if you think about it, and for your last trip around the sun. So we started a podcast.
Started a podcast, quit my job.
You didn't die on your honeymoon.
That was the year before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was right before that was right after our wedding. Our wedding was October of 2021. And
Gotcha.
The birthday is right after Christmas. So
I just got it confused because clearly one is by my birthday and the other's by yours.
yeah, this year was not as eventful as 2021. 2021 was crazy. That was, oh my God, that was all wedding planning and the wedding itself and job and everybody coming out of lockdown. And like, it was just, and this year has been more different. Like, just, I have a podcast now. That's like the biggest change.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, so we are going to be doing our I should have thought of a cute little name for this, but our best of basically for the year. Although there's a couple of worst ofs. Our end of year awards.
Yeah, end of the year look back type thing.
Yes, yes. We'll think of a cute thing for next year. We'll have a whole year to think of it and have the same conversation next year. So,
Yeah, maybe that'll be the tradition. We never have a name for it.
Yep. We can't use Dundee's, that's for sure.
No, even though we are from that area.
Yeah. All right.
Oh, we could spell it different, like Donedees, Dundees.
There we go. These are the Hello Ladies Dundees.
The Hello Ladies figuring things out as we record.
Yes.
On brand.
We name our podcast during. Why not? I mean, it was either that or the Glitter Awards, you know? Pound Town with Sting Award.
Oh, no.
Megan's favorite.
I forgot about it. It left my brain and now it's back. Thank you.
You're welcome. Every chance I get, I will remind you of it.
But every 2 weeks, you're just going to throw in a Pound Town reference, right? When it finally is gone. And I'm just going to live there again for a week.
I mean, it's right up there with Vince McMahon hates orgasms, so.
That's probably one of our funnier titles of an episode.
Yeah, pretty sure all algorithms were like, nope.
Yeah.
That's not seeing the light of day.
I think our best one that on YouTube that I remember seeing this year was CM Punk living Ethan Page's gimmick. But I think like everybody that was talking about the CM Punk Elite shit at that point was definitely getting hits. That was a hot topic.
Yeah. Yes. And we had a unique take throwing in Ethan Page. So
yeah.
Alrighty. So for our first Dundee, who do you have for breakout tag team of the year?
Damage Control. They've been pretty much dominating Raw women. because they don't seem to be on SmackDown as much, and Raw is pretty much the women's show. Yeah, they debuted, got the belts pretty quickly, and have been pretty dominant ever since. So yeah, definitely them.
At some point, they are definitely going to go against Shayna Baszler and Ronda, and I can't wait for that because Dakota and Shayna are dating in real life. So that'll just be fun. Um, I have the obvious choice, the Ass Boys. Joke. No, I don't. I have Damage Control.
Okay. I was gonna say, okay. I was waiting for you to explain why. I
Okay,
had an
but why?
I had an open mind.
I appreciate that. You were just like, "Yeah, Sabrina really did hit her head hard on that beam. All right. I mean, the Ass Boys are doing things.
I mean, I thought when you said you were going with acclaimed, and I was gonna say that is also a very fair tag team to choose.
They were
But
the ones I initially thought of, the Acclaimed. Which is why I was in like, ha ha ha, wouldn't it be funny to say the Ass Boys? And I was like, oh, Damage Control though. That's how my brain works. That was an exact breakdown. Uh,
nice.
who do you have for breakout male performer of the year?
Daniel Garcia. He 2022 was a really good year for him. Everything what like he wasn't doing much. And then the Jericho Appreciation Society started, and he's obviously a part of that. And at first, that didn't seem like it was really going anywhere. But then that stuff with like Brian Danielson started, and the whole little triangle with him and Jericho and Brian, and then like matches with Wheeler Yuta. And he has skyrocketed in that company this year from like me forgetting who he was to loving seeing him on my TV.
It's a good one. I went with Danhausen, because he went from like just being this indies guy, breaking his leg, not having a contract, to um debuting on AEW with, I mean, we saw for weeks, maybe months, signs for Danhausen in the crowd, and he has just been so delightful, so very nice, so very evil. He made his own magic happen. Like he truthfully did. I mean, no one is ever truly self-made because we do rely on others to help us. It's a community type thing, but yeah, just beautiful. I can't imagine the best friends faction now without Danhausen. Um, it's just great. Love him. 'Twas a
Yeah,
good year to be the Hausen.
love that Danhausen.
Love that Danhausen. Yes. Who do you have for a breakout female performer?
Willow Nightingale.
Oh, that is a very good one.
She God, she got over, I feel like real quick, and she's very good. Uh yeah, I feel like out of all the other women that she kind like when I think breakout, I think of someone that like was kind of unheard of that like now you everybody knows. What like Danhausen was a good, I mean, he was known in like the indie scene and whatnot. And like Willow Nightingale, she is probably one of the more popular women's wrestlers in AEW. She always gets a huge pop, and her matches are normally good. So
Hmm.
yeah, I trying to think of somebody, and yeah, I think that I'd have to definitely give it to her.
She is phenomenal. I'd actually like to change my answer to her for all those same reasons. I initially, and this is going to sound weird, because when I think breakout, so someone could be around for a while and just be kind of stagnant and then all of a sudden shoot up. That's, have a really good year, not shoot up heroin or something. And I thought of Liv Morgan for that because she had like such a stellar year, that everyone got so behind her, and she for so long wasn't finding where she was meant to be, and then she hit her stride, but I want to change my answer to Willow because of all the reasons you said.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, Liv's definitely a good pick too. Her momentum got completely effing derailed by Ronda Rousey
Mm-hmm.
at a point where like people started booing her, which ugh, if that didn't happen, she probably would still be on that like sky that rocket to the top.
Wrestling fans are like, it's no lie, wrestling fans are very fickle. Like, as a whole, like, oh, you want to talk about crowds that can change on a dime, like, woohoo.
Yep.
Um, Now moving on, who do you have for faction of the year?
It there's literally no one else it could be. The bloodline has dominated 2022. There's been a lot of good factions. Like you can even count Damage Control as a faction as well as the tag team. Judgment Day's been like good. OC, best friends. Like there's so many, but Bloodline has just been on top. Like you can't touch them. The Usos with their longest reigning tag reign, and Roman with his modern day like longest reign, because nobody's ever going to touch those ones that are like 4, 5, 6 years at this point, because you wrestle weekly now. It's not like once a month at Madison Square Garden like it was when Bruno
Mhm.
Sammartino was wrestling.
Yeah, and not only that, but people see it
Mhm.
every like it's not. Yeah.
So it just like the impressive title reigns. Solo Sikoa coming in as the enforcer, Paul Heyman as the wise man, and then Sammy joining them and just even more elevating. I couldn't in good conscience give it to like a fact I liked more. I tried to look at it objectively and went with the bloodline.
While I understand everything you have just said, and they are all the most valid of points, the best friends have cuter pets, and really, when it comes down to wrestling, that's what matters.
Computer bets. I love you.
I just while I will admit my vote should be for the bloodline for all of the legitimate reasons Megan has stated, I could not look at the best friends and not vote for them. Perhaps if the bloodline had Naomi, it would be different, but they don't. And best friends has Chris Statlander, which brings in her iguanas and other pets. So, really, they also did Floor is Lava, and that was quite something. They too have a champion and extra teeth. So,
The best friend is not a bad pick. Like it's honestly not. Even with you joking, like saying because they have like better pets, like it's not a bad. They're definitely up there. They're in my like top three, so not a bad choice.
yeah, if you haven't, go to Chuck Taylor's Instagram and just look at pictures of his adorable dog, um,
Boy.
Walter, who is, I don't understand. How is he real? He's just so cute. So
Yeah,
cute.
he looks like a little stuffed animal. I just want to.
And sometimes Chuck Taylor will wear clothing with Walter all over it, and sometimes Walter will wear clothing with Chuck Taylor all over it. Like usually while watching him on the TV.
Looks so cute.
And clearly, with wrestling, these are the issues that matter at the end of the day.
Oh, bless you.
So Walter is what I'm saying, really sealed for the best friends.
Clearly.
Grasping at straws now, Sabrina? No, grasping at puppies. Well, dogs. I can't say grasping at puppies because of a childhood filled with the king.
Ugh. Puppies.
My puppies bite. Get away.
I mean, that would be a very serious medical condition.
You know, some surgeries are just worth it.
Oh my God, the mental image of like teeth in the place of a nipple. Just chomp.
Because they're metal ones. I'm trying to think of there was like a cartoon or something that had like metal in the mouth and I just remember it not for nipples, but this is like some memory now that is trying to unearth itself. I
Trying
think
to.
it's probably some weird serial killer thing, honestly. Bones, the show Bones.
I never watched it.
There's a cannibal and metal mouth. Yeah. There we go.
Gotcha.
It has been unearthed. Moving on. What do you have for best storyline of the year?
Uh, I mean, again, I I gotta go with Sammy and the Bloodline.
Hmm.
There, it it's been top tier. It's been miles above every other storyline that has happened this year. If the media scrum didn't happen and we actually got to see MJF and CM Punk play out, I think that would have been my pick. But since all of that did happen and we never got to see it, Sammy's just been gold. Like he's having the best year in his WWE main roster career by far. And
Arguably his career ever. Like some people would probably pick this over everything else that he's done. The dancing alone. The dancing alone.
and like that Usi segment where he made them all break to the point where like Solo wasn't even shown. They wouldn't even show him on camera. So you know that he was not there stone faced. Otherwise they would have shown him. He broke Paul Heyman. Like
They made a TikTok filter because of it that says that you can put and see if you're Usi or not Usi, and it like randomly generates over your head, and had Sammy do a video, and he of course got Usi.
and it's not over. Like now, like they're like Kevin Owens has been brought into it, and there's all that history with Sammy and Kevin, which
John Cena is now involved.
yeah, for a week, and
Yeah.
then that'll go away. But like I mean, you can throw Sammy and Kevin at me a million times, and I will never ever get sick of it. And to the point where it's like a main event thing now with them, and
Hmm.
I there's just it's got to be it's Sammy and the Bloodline best storyline by far this year.
While I think all of the points you made are valid, I too agree it's the Usiest of all.
It, that was an easy one.
Yes. Yes, it was. Um, who do you have for manager of the year?
Did we miss one? I have a best feud between faction and storyline.
Um,
Or is that later for you?
we're gonna say it's later for me.
Okay.
Yes.
Manager of the year.
Yes.
I'm giving it to William Regal because he came in and started the Blackpool Combat Club this year, which has been one of my favorite factions. And the Excalibur shit. That just it brightened my Wednesdays when Kenny was not around. I at least had something to look forward to.
You mean War Daddy wasn't enough for you?
I, you know, I like Wardlow. I know that he's very attractive, but he's not like someone that I'm watching for, if that makes sense.
You're apparently he has not done his job in winning you over because you're part of the demographic he is aiming for.
I like him. I like his matches. I'm trying to think, like, he doesn't have my heart the way Kenny Omega does.
Your husband doesn't have your heart the way
No,
Kenny
probably
Omega does.
he's very aware of that. He's fine with second place. That's a joke, honestly. I
Of
mean,
course,
really,
Brian's listening, isn't he?
I flat out told them that if the opportunity ever presented itself, I'm filing for papers. So
Fair
I
enough.
I love him, but I will get a lawyer for a divorce.
Um, I have Paul Heyman. Um, again, like the bloodline
Yeah.
stuff, all of it. It's so good. And like his face during matches kills me. Like
Yeah.
sometimes I will legitimately stop watching the match and just look at Paul Heyman's face.
He's very animated. Yeah, I've been like that with him since I first started watching again. And he was with Punk and like just his facials out like
Mm-hmm.
so great at selling emotion, like over the top emotion with just his face.
Yes. All of the yes. Um, sorry, Dobby is snoring over on the bed, and I
Aw.
didn't know that he snored. So, uh, scariest moment.
So I know what yours is, so I chose something different because both moments were pretty scary. I went with Hangman's concussion in the match with Moxley because at first no one thought it was a concussion. People thought that he snapped his neck and he was out cold and it looked a lot worse in person and then on like the replays that not like in person but like live on TV
Yeah.
it looked really scary in that moment. I honest to God yelled out loud and thought that I just watched a man break his neck like badly. Like I thought he was gonna be paralyzed. And when I found out that it was a concussion, which isn't great, like we talked about on the
Mm-hmm.
podcast, just happy that it was nothing more like serious. Like he'd be able to walk and talk again. And
Yeah.
yeah, that was one of the scariest things that I've like injuries that I've seen on TV live, like as I was watching, like that's up there, like Ray Phoenix's arm, Foley going through the cell like that, like
The one I have is Big E when he broke his neck because I legitimately thought he was dead. Like at first, I was like, I just saw Big E, who's one of the biggest sweethearts on the planet, die on TV. And nope, just broke his neck. Like thank goodness he has such a strong neck and really like works that thing because that's the only reason he's not dead.
yeah.
Like, oh, oh, like when I think about that moment, I still like there's like a tightness in my chest and I feel nauseous. Sorry,
I
I'm
remember when
getting so many messages all of a sudden. Silence. Okay.
I remember when like that was that air, like when that was on, the feeling in my stomach was like when you drop down the first hill of a roller coaster, like that rolling, like
Mm-hmm.
it actually like made me, oh my God, like I knew you were picking that. That's why I didn't choose it. But like both men, like one breaking his neck and the other one that definitely looked like a broken neck when it happened, like they were both very, very scary moments to watch, especially the two people who are little cinnamon roll sweet humans that you got. Hangman just had the baby and like Biggie is just a living teddy bear. Like they
And he was at such like a high point in his career. Like it happened at such a horrible time. And there's not a great time to break your neck, but like, oh, Ugh. Ugh.
And he may never wrestle again.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, what was the one that we skipped before?
Best feud.
Best feud, yes. Um, what do you have?
Um, so this is recent, but I have the Death Triangle and the Elite um almost entirely because of this best of seven that's going on. These matches have all been good. And like anytime these people, these men fight and wrestle, it's always great. But this best of seven has been my favorite thing that's been happening on Wednesdays,
Mm-hmm.
to the point where like that one week that they weren't there, I go, why the fuck am I even watching Dynamite tonight? I yeah, I have to pick them just because they banger matches.
I agree. There are only two others that I really considered. Um, and that would be blah, blah, blah. Sammy versus KO right now. It hasn't played out enough to like really feel where it's going. Um, and then Death Triangle versus um the Best Friends and Orange Cassidy. Like that mini, and that's the thing, it was like a mini feud that they had. So good. The common denominator here is really Death Triangle. Like, I think they might actually be like the Lucha Brothers, I think are actually my favorite tag team in all of wrestling. Um, I've never seen a match of theirs and been like, a yawn.
My my favorite tag team in wrestling right now is definitely the Young Bucks, but Lucha Bros are definitely up there. They're one of my favorites.
Those two teams bring the best out of each other.
Yes.
Like they are, and this is the highest praise I can give any wrestling tag teams. The Edge and Christian versus the Hardys. Like that's this generation's them. And I haven't felt that way since those teams. Oh no, that's a lie. Because of the New Day, the Usos and the Bar, like that triangle.
Oh, that was fun. Yeah.
Beautiful.
I mean, you could throw FTR in with Lucha Bros and the Young Bucks, and that could be like the Dudleys, like when those three tag teams were very centered around each other. You got FTR, Lucha Bros, and Young Bucks. Just
I'm not a big fan of FTR.
I know.
I don't care about their matches at all.
I enjoy them. I feel like they have really good matches with both of those teams. They're like the big three, I think, to me right now, is those three tag teams.
Um, who do you have for best debut?
I am 100% sincere in this. This is not a meme. It's not a joke. I chose that kid, Action Andretti, from
Oh
that
yeah.
match with Jericho because this kid was billed as a jobber, which obviously that bless you,
Mhm.
um obviously that couldn't have been the case because he was immediately like the graphic all elite right after. So obviously he was being brought in to be signed. But
He was signed a few months ago.
okay, you it was that the fan reaction to that match was so organic and so on fire. I can't imagine being a young wrestler or like an indie wrestler going into one of the major companies and that being my first match. Chris Jericho, a whole crowd that's chanting for me the entire time, absolutely like lighting the building on fire when you went. Like it just must have felt incredible, and it was so much fun to watch. Like it
Yeah.
just I can't think of another debut that was that electric for this entire year. I I couldn't. There were other people I thought of that were like, oh, that was cool when they showed up in AEW. That was cool when they came back. I I wanted to pick probably what you picked. I'm thinking I know what you picked. But I'll know if I'm wrong in a second. But like that was just it was too organic. That I think that it, I loved it. I am so happy for that kid.
So I selected Soraya's um because I was in that crowd live, and like when she came out, oh boy, that I blew a vocal cord. Like I ruined my voice for 2 days. Um if I had been sitting at home, I might not have had such a strong reaction, but since I was there, my panties were blown off. What can I say? Never
Uh,
thought never thought like I would see that woman wrestle again. She didn't even wrestle then, but just her skipping around the ring or like inside. Yes.
I thought you were going to pick not sorry, you said sorry, Athena. That's who I thought your pick was gonna be.
I don't even remember her debut at this point.
Huh,
Like I know she did, but I don't remember her coming out.
gotcha.
But yeah. Moving
We
on.
we didn't do a best return, did we?
Yes, we did. I was just about to ask you what your best return was.
Oh, okay. I missed that on the list. I don't even have it, but I have it in my head. Um, Bray.
Ray's
I
a good pick.
now everybody would probably expect me to say Kenny Omega because everyone knows how I feel about Kenny. But Bray Wyatt's return was just there. It was so well done. It was right after a pay-per-view. Like you don't expect that to happen at the end of a pay-per-view. The door, the music, the whole crowd with the light, it just was a really, really good return. It was so theatric. It just was very beautifully done.
My pick was Cody Rhodes
Oh, okay.
because that was a return that no one thought was in the works or was going to happen. I mean, he came back under Vince McMahon, like that shocking as one of the like four dudes who helped start AEW. Like he was there were a lot of people who thought that it was Cody Rhodes promotion. Like and then I built the competition. I'm coming back home.
It broke my heart. It still breaks my heart. I'm happy for him if he's happy, but
My jaw still hurts from the moment.
it was heavily rumored that he was going back, and I expected it. And then when it did happen, I remember my whole face fell. So I was still holding out hope that maybe it wouldn't. And I was like, at least he's happy.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that match he had with Seth Rollins, like with yeah.
Yeah, they work well together.
It's
I'm
also one
sure
of
it
the
was
most iconic images probably from this year. Like that
him.
the reveal.
Yeah,
Oof. Yeah. Um who do you think had the worst year in wrestling?
Biggie.
I put Vince McMahon.
I,
He deserved to have the worst year.
that was my thought process. He brought everything on himself. I think Big E had like I gave it to Big E because like we had touched on before, he was at such a high moment in his career,
Mm-hmm.
champion singles championships, and it just got taken away so suddenly and like a freak accident, a move that so many wrestlers do,
All the
and
time.
he may never ever be able to wrestle again. On top of that, I like Vince is his own fault because he's an awful human. Big E didn't deserve that,
No.
and my heart still breaks for him.
Yeah. Yeah, I love Biggie. If you If you couldn't tell, like in general, this podcast is very pro New Day, but like Big E is just a marshmallow of a human.
Yeah, there's some wrestlers that like I'd be afraid to meet because I would be afraid that they would be like not like rude, but like standoffish or they wouldn't care, like here you go, bye. Like you're Biggie, I would love to meet because I feel like he would genuinely see you as like a person and not just another face that he has to like sign an autograph for.
I would gladly hug that man. We've talked before about how Biggie is like looks like he gives amazing hugs. Like, yes. Like I would willingly like just jump into his arms, big hug. Yes. Oh, just they should make Big E teddy bears. They'd make a fortune.
Right? I hope that he can still do something within the company.
He's
Even if
such a great voice. Like he could go to something else within if he wanted.
he can commentate, he can still like hang out with New Day and
Manager.
yeah, he there's so much he can do. I hope that they find like
I think that they would definitely like if he wanted to, I think they would take care of him.
yeah, just
I truly do.
first and foremost, I hope he recovers
Yeah.
100%.
Yes, agreed. All righty. So who do you have for the male performer of the year?
Sami Zayn,
Yep.
for all of the reasons that we have said earlier. This man is having the best year of his life. I mean, not even just the bloodline, him and Johnny Knoxville, which I almost put for breakout male performer, like just for fun. I almost put Wee Man for body slamming him.
Yeah.
Like that's like one match. If somebody asked me, like, why do you watch professional wrestling? And if I had to pick like three matches to show them, like a current match, an old school match, and like a non-US match, I'd probably choose that as like one of the matches because it had everything. Like there was the complete assery of like all the jackass stuff, but there was like legit wrestling. Johnny Knoxville looked good.
Yeah.
It was so much fun. It was just, and then from like that was like towards the end of his like conspiracy theory stuff. And like switching gears from that to like desperately trying to get in with like the Usos and the bloodline to getting in there through Jimmy, all of the shit with Jay to like what just happened with like Jay and him finally hugging and like
Being
there's
Usi.
been yeah, I mean the Usi thing, there's nobody that has had a better year without winning a belt than Sami Zayn. He's on top of the business right now.
Yes. I agree for all of those reasons. And also I don't know how he makes his body dance like that. And it's on purpose.
I mean, he was definitely going to ska concerts as a teenager and skanking.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That man's a skank if I ever saw.
Right? And can I just say, I posted this on our Instagram, but I'll say it on air. That man cleans up very nicely with the hair pulled back and the beard shaped and not wild and the little jacket on him. I was like, damn, I forgot Sammy's actually a good looking dude. Like,
Yep. If you wanna get Megan's motor running, you toss on a man bun.
I am very partial to them. Like, unironically, I do like a man bun. I like Wardlow's is cute. Remember when Kenny and the Bucks did the Street Fighter and he had the pink hair with it like pulled up in the bun? Oh my God, my heart.
In
Like,
general, like I like Kenny Omega's bun and buns, but that little top knot bun that he'll do, it's a good look.
there's not much he does that isn't a good look. But
Yeah, I'll agree. I will agree with that. Who do you have for female performer? This is one I struggled with a little bit because there were two contenders for me.
I didn't struggle. I immediately chose Rhea Ripley. Like that was just immediate.
She's who I wound up going with, but I considered Bianca Belair because she's had a phenomenal year as well. But Rhea Ripley took people being creepy to her on the internet and on Twitter, and man, she made herself rich. Like,
Yeah. I the reason I didn't pick Bianca is because I feel like her beginning of her year started out great, but it's kind of fizzled a little. She's not as much as the main focus as Rhea Ripley has been for what, like 6 months at this point. It's been at least half the year since the
even
summer.
even when Rhea was injured, she was still consistently on TV in storyline. She just wasn't in the ring. Um, Rhea also is the reason Dominic Mysterio's career is doing so well. He
Yep.
is perhaps the most hated heel in all of wrestling, and it's just beautiful. It's just beautiful.
And they really, they honest to God are turning her into China 2.0. I mean, she just had that match with Tozawa,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought because they have done in the past several years mixed matches, but I always noticed like the man was never allowed to do any offense on the
Mm-hmm.
woman. Not in this match. That was an equal 50-50 match, which was fun. Like,
Yeah. Like Tozawa was afraid to like punch her in the face. And like I just love that because Rhea Ripley leans into it and she's like, come on, come on. But you would
yeah,
see that with China too. Like now I'm wondering if like she dyed her hair for like not just because she joined Judgment Day, but she's fitting more and more into especially, and I've said it before, her and Dominic's relationship is very similar, more of a kink to it, but very similar to Eddie and China. And I love it. I love it. Rhea
yeah.
is also a little peanut.
She's just been on fire. And if she is not standing tall at WrestleMania holding a belt, there's something very wrong with this world.
I want to see Dominic Mysterio in her arms, like wrapped around her, going like,
Mommy. Um, we forgot one.
what one?
We forgot tag team.
Oh, yes, tag team of the year. Where the hell? I know I had that somewhere. No, we did that, didn't we? We did that with the breakout tag team,
Oh, is that what? Okay.
didn't we?
I I had tag team of the year and breakout tag team.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I had them separate. I thought we mentioned them at the same. Who's your breakout tag team, just in case?
Breakout we
Or
did.
not breakout, sorry, your tag team of the year.
Oh, FTR.
We did not do this because I have the Usos.
Yeah, I chose FTR because of the three different promotions that they won belts in and the 5-star matches that they had, and they accomplished a lot this year.
The Usos are and have been one of my favorite tag teams, and they've just had such a fire year and are involved in the best storyline of the I couldn't say anyone but them.
I was torn between both of them. I ultimately went with FTR, but both like I struggle between both because both of them can definitely be argued for tag team of the year for sure.
Yeah. I think Dax might have mustache of the year.
Possibly.
He has a fun mustache.
Then
It
the
reminds
whole
me of my dad's. I think that's why I like it.
gotcha. And then their whole like fight like a girl, like the 8-year-old girl thing, and the whole story about like his daughter, and yeah, they had a damn good year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Well, this will be our last podcast for 2022. We will be still shouting at you all and telling you to smash, suplex, and go to Pound Town with the like, subscribe, and share buttons next year in 2023. Maybe it's already 2023 when you're listening to this, in which case, yeah, I don't know where I was going with that.
Yeah, our 1 year anniversary will be coming up soon. I don't remember the exact date that we first posted, but you can easily look.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Send
crazy.
tributes, everyone.
Doesn't feel like a year already. That's pretty wild.
Hmm.
Almost a year straight. Like pretty much all of 2022, we have been here.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
And we ask, as always, that you, with our Lord and Savior John Cena, hustle, loyalty, and respect. Yabba-doo.
We do.
Oh, you're not going to scream and run off camera this time, Megan?
No, because it's not Christmas anymore.
Fair.